Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
Welcome to the Ospreys. Eyrie, you're here today with me, Jack, as your host, and we're joined by Grant and Josh. How are we doing, boys?
Really stiff. I've been out for a 73-mile ride on the bike earlier, practicing for rugby in a week and a half's time. So I'm now paying for it.
I'm feeling. I think I'm feeling fresher than Grant by the sounds of it. I've had a quiet day in the office, and my body feels great.
You still dying out on that try you scored?
I'm trying not to bring it up at the rugby club because I feel like I'm just going to get abused. So trying to make sure everyone forgets it, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, so let's get down to business. It is Derby week. Derby week, Ospreys Scarlets, game at the brewery. Are we excited?
Yes. Biggest game of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, home game. Biggest away game of the year as well, to be fair. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think seeing as we've got nothing to play for league position-wise, we're quite fortunate in the last two games and what they are, because it's easy to get up for a derby, and similar with the away game in Leinster. So, yeah, even though there's not necessarily anything to play for league position-wise, I think, yeah, it's bragging rights on the line. So, yeah, it's easy to get up for it.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Bragging rights, and given the season that everybody's had and everything, it's nice to sit down and hopefully beat the rivals across the bridge, I would say. Like, these games are always... I was going back through, like, a lot of them recent in the build-up to the pod, just trying to, like, because why not? And you notice that, like, there's so kind of... Some of them there's so many close games, and there's also some pretty big blowouts. But like if we look at like, over the last few kind of seasons, unless I am wrong, I don't think there's been too many like massive blowouts of late. Like
No,
last
there's been big ones for a while, is there?
No. Like last season, obviously there was the win that the Scarlets had in the league, and then in the Europe we beat them. That I would say that in the end came out looking. I don't know if you agree, but I think that might have been a misstep in the end, actually, looking at that in terms of finishing and where the Ospreys ended up finishing and what happened against Leon. So it might be an opportunity for revenge, really, I would say.
Well, it's a home game as well in the brewery field. And I don't know, my old brain's addled on that, but I don't know if we've played them in the brewery before.
Oh, I don't think we have.
So that'll be an interesting change for them coming to an old school ground within Australia.
Yeah. I was going to say an old school ground in the middle of nowhere. You could have been talking about the ground, to be honest. There we go. Get the shots in now.
Because I don't think we've lost at home to the Scarlets since 2020. So that's, 6 years?
That's impressive, isn't it? And
pretty good record.
Yeah.
We've we've had the benefit of some close games in the last few years, and probably the best bits about some of those are the unexpected ones as well, and where we look like we're down and out and can turn up and make a point on the pitch. So
yeah,
fingers crossed it's not that sort of game this time round, and you just look at. I know we're far too low down in the league compared to where we think we should be, but you'd like to think that we've just got some big firepower up front that we should be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. It's Jack's last home game as well, so you want to think the boys will want to send him off on a bit of a high, beating your local rivals.
Yeah, I'd assume the Derry would be down there as well, so it's their last kind of games. But one thing I did think actually when I was watching a lot of these these games back and just like watching the clips of that is that like I don't know why I've never drawn the parallels before, but Richard Hibbard and Derry Lake, the parallels in terms of like the physicality, the issues that line out, and so on. Like they are, the hair. Although it's distinctive haircuts is what I'm going for. Like I was just watching it thinking, oh, I don't know why I've never made this connection before. I wonder if Dewi will also buy up half of Port Talbot seafront as well. The other side, the side of Aberafon Naval.
Aberafon Naval's been done up. Well, sorry, that area I think it's been done up in time. And there's going to be some new cafes down there on the
Yeah,
end of the beach.
here we go. Business opportunities, business
Who's
opportunities.
done that then? It's probably Richard Hibbard again.
I don't know why, but whenever so I had a few friends who went to Glenavon. Glenavon's in the centre of town, in Port Talbot, and they always said they would see Richard Hibbard walking out of Wilco's with power tools. That is their overriding memory of, of Richard Hibbard.
Cheap DIY.
Yeah. I don't know why, but yeah. Back to the rugby. It's how do you think the Ospreys should go about this game? How do you think the best way to get a result would be, other than just turn up? Because Scarlets aren't really that good, are they?
Can't just turn up. No, Scarlets might be floating around the bottom of the league, okay, but they've had a better second half of the season. I think it's really, really important that we do a job up front. You know, we had parity against Cardiff, and we should have had far more than parity against Cardiff. So I think we really need to make a mark against the Scarlets to give us that grounding. And yeah, forwards win games, and the backs decide how much. I think the forwards really need to put on a show.
Definitely. I think, yeah, just building on that, I also think the line-out's been a huge issue for us over the last few games. And I really hope the last couple of weeks they've really worked on it, because if you look at Scarlets, one of Scarlets' strengths is they have got sort of a lot of decent players at line-out time at stealing ball, in terms of Max Douglas, Tane Plumtree, those sort of lads. So yeah, hopefully that's an area we've kind of gone back to strength with.
That's a really good point, isn't it? A couple of times this season we've said, right, we've got some faults and we know we can fix them. And then we fix them, and a week later, they're back there again, isn't it? So, and you look at the games from the weekend, okay, the European semi-finals, and you look at people's lineouts, and it's like they're like well-oiled machines, and they don't look like there's any fear of people taking the ball off them time after time after time. Just thinking, is it the pace of the calls? I don't know. But yeah, something a little bit wobbly still, isn't it, about our lineout?
Yeah. It's hard to tell though, isn't it? Because like you don't know if it's the throw in, the jumping, the timing. Like I'm not going to profess to be a line out expert here, but it's oftentimes they'll put the focus on the thrower, but sometimes it might actually not be that at all. It might just be the organization of it or the timing. If we think back to the game over the festive period, the line out didn't go very well. It was a weird game, actually. I don't know. I went down. Did you go down, Grant? Did you go down to Park the Scarlets for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but look, thinking back to it, like I thought the Scarlets had a lot of the ball. They had good stuff. They had a bit of kicking, but like our defense was really, really resolute, and we did physically beat them in the end,
Yeah.
and didn't give them any ideas. I wonder if they'll approach the game slightly differently this time, because they had a lot of ball in hand, I seem to remember. I'm thinking back now, it might be confirmation bias, but I don't think we can go into the game, considering we've lost the physicality of Dewi as well, who on that day was awesome, even though his throwing was a bit off. He was on the wrong side of Ben Whitehouse, I think was the referee that day. Like, I do think that they're going to need to, as you said, like rely on the physicality, because the Scarlets have like a fantastic backline, and when they click and they start firing, they do look dangerous. So yeah.
So a kicking game's got to be on. Yeah, you give them loose ball, okay, and they can cause problems, can they? So our kicking game has to be absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
I think I think like a lot of derbies kind of come down to the fundamentals, and rugby can be quite a simple game, really. You get your kicking game right, you get your set piece right, you get your physicality right, and 9 times out of 10 you'll be in the game. We might come on to selection later, but I think from that perspective, I think it's a game that someone like Ross Moriarty needs to play. He's a great line-out option, but I also just think he'll relish a derby and the physicality that comes from a derby, and I think he's probably going to be quite frustrated that someone like Tame Plumtree is currently getting selected in Wales squads ahead of him. And this is probably a game that Tandy and his coaching staff will be at. And it's a great opportunity for him to really, really put his physicality across on the Scarlets boys and stamp his place in the Wales squad.
Yeah.
Hopefully not literally.
Bad choice of words there, Josh.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, he's up against Plumtree. Well, he might well be up against Plumtree if he's picked, and that would be an interesting battle. But you go back, okay, to the basics, and our scrum is fine. Surely our scrum is fine.
Yeah.
But our line out, practice makes permanent, doesn't it? It doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if we're repeating the same things, we're going to get the same results. So you got to have your fingers crossed that we've got a smart set of coaches and they know how to fix what's been going wrong.
Yeah. Particularly after the last, run out against Cardiff, like.
Yeah.
There needs to be a pickup. There needs to be a kick on. Like, we can't turn up and play it like that again. But yeah, I don't see them turning up and putting in the same performance. Like, it feels like such a strange game, actually. Because if you think about, like, throughout the season with the Welsh derbies and things like that, there's been that extra edge to it in terms of because of the situation the regions were put in. Like, it became more than just bragging rights. It also became about, like, winning and almost like saying, like, hey, look, like, if you want to get rid of us, that's fine, but we've just beaten all of, everyone has come our way. So I wonder what the actual, like, atmosphere will be like now in terms of, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Well, which American general said, you can plan as much as you want. As soon as you go on the battlefield, you can throw your plans out the window. But if you don't plan, you don't know how to adapt. And I think once the players come onto the pitch, and hopefully we get an atmosphere like we've had into every single home game this year. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's full or half empty in Bridgend. Okay, it's nice and intimidating in a good way. And you got to hope that the crowd can make a difference. So there's ticket sales are going well, but still I'd encourage anyone. Okay, if you think about going, just grab one of the last tickets on the terrace and come down.
Yeah, it'd be great to see a sellout, wouldn't it? Proper sellout. Yeah.
One of the scary bits for me is if you look at the Hubcap Challenge table. Okay, the 10 points behind us. They've got 2 games. We've got 1 game. Okay, if they can, they'll have to swing a 51 points differential. Okay, but potentially they could overtake us and end up second.
So, quite frankly, what you're telling me is if the Ospreys win on the weekend, they're the only Welsh team to win any silverware. It's
Well,
yeah.
it maybe, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the hubcap.
Yeah.
The hubcap.
Well, Cardiff fans will say they're in the playoffs, so they might still win that.
They might. They might not.
Yeah.
You got to be in it to win.
I was hearing today that if they finish 8th and Ulster win their final, they still don't get Champions Cup. That's got to be gutting, isn't it? Like,
that happened to the Ospreys a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely gutting. You think you've got there fair and square, and then the Challenge Cup game decides your future.
Yeah.
Quite obscure.
So, should we look at the team people think going to be put out? Starting with the front row.
I'm assuming Gareth Thomas is going to be fit for this one. There hasn't been any injury news, is there?
No. None that I know of. None that I've seen. So no. Well, there never is any injury news, is there? So
no. Things tend to pop out in the press conferences, don't they, just before the game?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But assuming he was close against Cardiff, you'd think 2 weeks later he's got to be fit.
Well, close. He's named to start.
There we go. So hopefully we should have Gat on.
Yeah.
And jump straight to the bench position after Cam Jones's cameo again. It's like it would seem really bad to leave him off the bench given what he did in Cardiff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I prefer him as a finisher. To be honest with you, I think Steph Thomas has been really good when he started, but
Yeah,
I think it's almost a completely different role to finish a game and come on in 20 minutes and add energy and add carrying and add power. And I think Steph Thomas is almost more of a multiple interventions kind of player who can kind of get through work rate over 60 minutes. But I prefer someone like Cam Jones to come off the bench personally.
Scott Gibbs Jones. That I'd say so as well. I think that if Gartom's fit, Gartom starts, doesn't he?
yeah.
I mean, I think we could really get at them in the scrum as well. Scrum's not been great for the Scarlets this year, is it? Like, so I think that would probably be my choice there, and then we're probably looking at Boter and Parry.
I think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
yeah. I think
In
that front
terms
row.
of solid, tight dead props in Scarlets games, yes. Yeah, yeah, probably give me my favourite moment of any Ospreys Scarlets game, Dimitri Art, but yeah, we might talk about that later.
Cardiff Dimitri Ayep.
Mm.
But yeah, I got a funny anecdote about Dimitri Ayep that I don't know if I can share actually, but I'll tell you boys off air later.
Oh, that's brutal.
I will record it and cut it at the end if you remember.
I mean, one of the things I do remember is me sitting in the hairdressers when I had hair in Swansea, and seeing him walk through the door in his like full training kit, and I'm surprised he fit through. Like just sitting there looking at him trying to get through this door. He's another one of these people whose hips are as wide as his shoulders, and it was just like, all of a sudden it all went dark. Like and my hair fell out. So, you know.
So does his, to be fair. So maybe it was the barbers.
Yeah. Um, so then the second row, I think this is where I think I think the back five is where it gets quite, interesting actually. Like in terms of who do we go with? Do you think we see James Fenders? Like, because he's not really been involved, has he, much?
Personally, I think I know it's important in itself as a derby game, but I want to be focusing on the lads who are going to be there next year.
Yeah.
And I know we'll come on to fullback and Jack Walsh and all that in a minute later. But for me, yeah, because he's off and because Reece Davis for me and Ryan Smith are probably our first choice, I'd be going with them.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And I think you're quite right in terms of some of the calls the coaches will make. They'd be doing that, wouldn't they? It might be different in the back row with someone like Jack in terms of the
Yeah,
circumstances why he's leaving, etc. But yeah,
yeah.
I'd agree with that. I think, and those two are massive physical players as well. And again, if you want to stomp a mark on the game, that's the sort of player who's going to do it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I agree. I think so. I think that's probably about right. And then the question is, if we go, and I think I know Josh is picking, if we go Moriarty in that back row, does that mean James Ratty's on the bench?
In my team, I would have him on the bench.
Covering second row as well, yeah. So the back row, Jack Morgan and Ross Moriarty, is it?
And Morgan Morris for me. That would be mine.
Do you know what? Okay, I'd like to see Morgan Morse have some game time. He's going to be a big player for us for years to come. And again, if you want to see something of him, I just want to see him start again, or at least get on the bench because he's such a talent. He's got so much potential, and it's a big game. It's a chance for him to show what he can do.
Yeah.
Morgan Morris, mind, it's really hard to drop the guy here. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
But
The question is then though, is like, who would you take out? Like, would you want to play Morse to seven? Because I think Jack probably plays the whole 80 if he
yeah,
can in this. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't take, or do you take him off and give him that like standing ovation that he deserves before the end of the match? Maybe, I don't know. I guess you're not going to plan it based around like a player leaving, but I do think that this, seeing as there's not a lot riding on this match, it would be nice to see it as a celebration of of those players who have been, like, fantastic. It's the last time they'll turn out in, at the Brewery Field. It'd be great to see a lot of these players actually get like a proper send off.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think that's important. It's been such a peculiar season, isn't it? In terms of us
well,
expecting to go to Bridgend, staying there for a few months, and then coming back to Swansea, and everything has happened on the back of that. So, yeah, this is a real, hurrah for Bridgend, a goodbye to Bridgend, thanks to the players who are leaving and the ones who are staying.
I don't think it'll be a good day for Jen for me. I think I'll be going to watch Aberravon playing Bridgend there on Boxing Days from from now on, but slightly different atmosphere. But yeah, no, I think it's important that it's used as a celebration. I think, to be honest, about like the season they've had, about like the support of the fans. Boshoff has signed a new contract as well, so he's staying around. So the players that are staying, despite everything that's been going on, I think that could be, and also there's, a farewell to those players who have decided to move on. Um, so I got a bit sidetracked there. My apologies, everyone. Back row of Moriarty, Morris to start, and
Probably, I'd like to see Morris play, but probably Morris.
yeah,
I'd just say yeah, because Morris is for me. He's been back to his best the last few games. I've been really impressed. I think he did have a tiny dip for like a small period, but I think yeah, he's been awesome last few games, and I think also I think Morse has been massively underutilized in terms of a bench option. Like he must be hot. Imagine you're exhausted. That's the last 20 minutes of the game, and you've got someone of that speed, that power coming off the bench, and he offers something a bit different. So yeah, for me, Morse would be a good bench option.
So in terms of bench, then what you put Ratty to cover second row, and have Deves and Morse as the back row options.
I would say yes, but then I'd be worried about my backs cover a little bit if we're going 6-2.
Deevesy can play in the backs, man.
He could definitely do a shift on the wing, to be fair.
It would be a travesty if it's the last game of the Brewery Field and fan favorite Harry Deeves does get on the pitch against the rivals. I won't stand for it, quite frankly. I'll side
To be
with the
fair,
WRU if that happens.
I am happy to be outvoted on this. I'm absolutely happy with Deavesy and Morse on the bench to come on.
Right. Well, if we go into the backs, and then you can make your argument for why we should be dropping cult hero, the man in the scrum cap, Harry Deeves from the bench. Heartless, heartless. Over there. So every Ospreys fan's favorite discussion: Ruben or Hardy.
Depending on where you are at the time, and it's like tossing that coin again, isn't it? But I think if we said we can't give them loose ball, okay, we need to kick properly, we need to finish the opportunities we get, then for this one I'd go Hardy. I love Ruben, I love what he does in the game, but I think for something like this, yeah, bring him off the bench, let him cause chaos at the end, and have all the control for 60 minutes.
Yeah, I concur. Oh, that's the combination I prefer as well. Hardy starting, Ruben off the bench.
Yep, I'm in for that. Well, we only have 110, really. So,
Yeah.
So Dan Edwards in a 10, or
Yeah.
you can have a discussion about it if you want.
Nope, very happy. I concur. That Eds.
Okay. 12 and 13. Keith from Neath.
If no one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Boshoff play. We just mentioned, he signed a new contract. He's most, even with Cotton Singer, he's our most creative centre. Defensively, he's well organised. He makes gaps for people, and I don't know if the gaps are going to be few and far between in the Scarlets backline. So I don't know if we need that extra degree of creativity there. So it's really hard to drop Keith from Neath, though, isn't it? Move on to 12 to do that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, it's going to be a 2-1 vote. This is anyway, and it's going to be Keith and
I don't know. I mean, I got a lot of time for Boshoff. I do.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one.
Yeah, if I'm honest, you convinced me, to be fair. I'd happily go with Owen and Boshoff. Yeah, I can see the merits of that.
Like, if you look at Keith, has he been as effective as usual in the last few games?
No, I'd say no.
no.
So I don't know, like, and the times Bolshov has got on the pitch, he's been fantastic. Like, he has been really good. So I'd be happy to see Bolshov and Watkin, Bolshov 13, Watkin at 12.
I don't know if you want to fire up the boys from Neath mind, okay? You'd say, we might not play you against the Scarlets.
Yeah,
Watch him in
yeah,
training this week.
yeah, true, true. Um, yeah, but he signed a new contract, so he must be in the plans, obviously. And he's not been played much recently, so he'd be pretty fresh coming into it as well, wouldn't he? Whereas Keith's played a lot of rugby actually since he's come back from injury a few weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
so we'll see. I'd be happy with either, and I speaks to the kind of like the strength of the squad that we're saying that. As long as Watkins in there for me, because I think he's just like he pulls everything together. He's got the step, got the rip. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we're looking for. And the back three, this is where it gets interesting. Based on the argument of play the boys who are sticking around, we play a Nagy at fullback. I mean, he did make that brilliant run against them last year, was it? With the Dan Eds try.
Yes.
Well, like it was like
Yeah.
The
bounce,
casual try.
yeah, bouncing people off and that. So wouldn't be against it. Or Yeston Hopkins at fullback as well, maybe. I don't know. Or
Well,
Jack Walsh gets him because he's been such a good servant. I think again a send off from the fans.
yeah. You've got to say, right, first of all, who's available? So we're assuming Keelan
Mhm.
isn't going to play.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Is Keelan not fit?
Yeah, he's been available for a couple of weeks, is he? Because you would think if he's fit, he'd just walk straight back in. Dan Casende is not going to play again this season.
Yeah.
He might not be with us next season as well, but he's not going to play for us again as part of this season. So it's almost like Yestin Hopkins has got to play. It's not feels to me like again, it's what we did last week, and it's like, do we end up with two small wingers with Yestin and Luke Morgan and Nagy as the giant between them?
Surely Combia comes in maybe in that case.
Oh, I don't know. I think when Luke's had the opportunities, he's looked really, really, really good.
Maybe, but like
Oh, Tom,
Scarlets have got good wingers in the air, mind. They're really good. You got Tom Rogers, you got
me,
yeah, me,
Meek. So
Meek.
wrong it, yeah.
Me. They are good in the air. Like
Yeah.
you think if they played two really short wingers, they'd be kicking balls at us all day long, you know.
Is that
If
the
I'm honest, the way I'm tempted to look at it is because Sunday is potentially off in the summer. So you've got Keelan, you've got Rogers coming in. We need to work out who's up to it. So for me, you either go if Keelan's fit, for me, you try Yeston Hopkins at fullback as he could be our second choice fullback next year, or first choice with Rogers, and then
Yeah.
go Keelan and maybe even Harry Houston on the wings. Like, at what point are we going to play these players to see if they're up to it? And Harry Houston's been playing SRC. At what point do we go, well, let's see if he's up to it? Because next season he's going to be second. He's going to be second or third choice. So we're going to have to test him
Yeah.
at some point.
I
Yeah.
like that. It's a weird game to throw him into the mix, isn't it? But
Yeah.
you're right though. These players need to have the opportunities to see what they can do.
Yeah.
All that. The safe one is picking Luke Morgan and Yeston and Nagy together. That's safe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
is it
But yeah, exactly. And I think it depends as well what they're planning on doing next season. They'll know if Luke Morgan's sticking around and if Nagy's sticking around. If Nagy's off, again, I'd be tempted just to go, okay, fine. We'll think about the next cab off the rank. Hopefully Nagy's I'd quite like Nagy to stay. And if Nagy's staying, then I'd potentially go Nagy at fullback with Hopkins and maybe Harry Houston on the wings. I know those are small wingers and we could get targeted, but they're always going to be small wingers. They're fully grown men now. Like, they're going to have to adapt and learn to adapt.
But by that reason, though, do you not then maybe put Kean higher in? He got a few
Good.
games at the end of last season, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, I could see the argument for that as well. But for me, even next season, I don't worry too much just because both is signed on for another year. We've got Ben Warren coming back fit and we'll still have Reece Henry. So even into next season, he's still fourth choice, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have opportunities to sort of blood him next season. But next season, I'm really worried about our back three and opportunities to blood these boys, and whether we're just going to be like, right, you guys are playing every week.
It seems to me for next season that Yeston could end up at 50 with Tom Rogers filling in a wing spot with Keel on the other side as
Yeah.
a nice balance.
But
But I do like the idea of two ginger wingers against the Turks, mate. Come on.
Yeah. It just feels like Harry Houston's been around the squad for like quite a few years now, and I just don't feel like he's been given a right. Like he played against Did he play against Benetton? I thought he looked quite sharp. If he did,
yeah, he did play against Benetton.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
looked good. Like, it's opportunities, and
Yeah.
again, you look at the French leagues, okay, and these players are dropped into the teams and they regularly, they've got a big league, okay, and they will give the youngsters time.
This
So
is it, and
then,
I think, yeah, I
are,
think
are
it
we
links
miss,
back to your Moore's point as well.
are we missing out on like an Anglo-Welsh league? Sorry, as in the Anglo-Welsh Cup, in terms of the opportunity to blood all these youngsters at a level above, well above SRC, but not necessarily throwing them in the melting pot.
Yeah, there does seem to be an issue with bringing players from the SRC into professional environments. And I mean, I always think about, I remember seeing Ryan Jones play and he was on his way back from an injury or something. I remember seeing him play for Aberafon. He scored about 15 tries, I think, or something. And there is a, there does seem to be a problem, doesn't there? And there needs to be an in-between. And I just don't really know where that in-between is at the moment, you know? So maybe like the Anglo-Welsh Cup was actually like useful in those respects. Because if you look across the bridge, they still have, the Premiership Cup, whatever it is. So when there's like
Yeah,
internationals on, they have those like derbies and they only play teams within their areas, don't they? So like
yeah.
Gloucester, Bath, Bristol, and like Exeter will play each other and so on. So I do think so, but then it goes back to what Josh is saying, which is, well, there's nothing riding on this game now, bragging rights. So if you're not going to play these players now, when are you going to play them? You know?
Big call in. Harry Houston to start against the Scarlets. You've heard it you first.
Owen
Maybe
and
last.
Owen Erasmus to fly off as well.
Well, yeah. Again, you look at like next season, you can only assume that Liam Edwards is going to break into the senior squad as well as fullback cover.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Liam Edwards is, he's got Warren Gatland written all over him, isn't he? 7 foot, massive fullback.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, is he fit, Liam Edwards? Because if he is, would you be
don't
tempted?
don't say it. I knew it. I knew it. I was sitting here thinking, as soon as that name comes up, Josh, like, throw him in. Put him in now.
Every time I watch him, I just think he's class. I think he's brilliant.
I don't know how much time he's having training with the senior squad.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't know if he's having any time training with the senior squad or if he's just sitting in the Swansea. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that would be a. So you've heard it here first and last. Harry Houston and Liam Edwards to start. Not.
Yeah, you can see my point though. Like, I know
Yeah,
what Luke Morgan can do. I've seen Luke Morgan play for 10 years now, and he's 30, 34, 35.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I do agree. It's just like finding that balance, isn't it? You also don't want to
Yeah.
just throw people in, but yeah, it does speak to that wider issue, doesn't it? Of like where or when do you put players in and when do you bring them on? Because that jump up just seems to be too big at the moment, doesn't it? You know?
But if you're going to say the WRU got anything right in the plans is to make SRC actually fit for purpose because it's still not fit for purpose, is it?
No,
It's not the stepping stone up.
no.
That's the only thing I've said positive about the WRU in the last 12 months. So stop.
Going soft, Grant.
No, just stop it.
All right. So wait, where were we on the back three? I feel like we got sidetracked with talk of playing
Well,
under 21s team.
yes, the Hopkins plus 2.
I'm putting Jack Walsh at fullback. He deserves. I know he's not going to be here next season, but like, come on, like he's been so good. I
Yeah.
understand why he signed somewhere else.
If you just rewind, you're quite right, isn't it?
Yeah,
Most appearances for us this season, okay? Mr. Consistent, real stylish rugby player with a rugby brain. Yeah.
yeah. So assuming that Keelan's not available, fullback Walsh, yes, Hopkins on one wing. I'm going Ryan Comby on the other.
I wouldn't, personally.
Fair enough.
I would either back the really old horse, I'd back the skinny ginger one who works in his mum's calf.
Harry
Yeah,
Houston. Harry Houston, is it?
yeah. Well, who knows?
All
Yeah,
right.
well, I wonder when Mark is sitting down with his senior coaches if he's having anything like this conversation, or is it just a matter of he's been shit all week, he's out. He's been brilliant all week, give him a chance. End
I'm,
of.
I'm going to say these decisions are probably more data driven
Do
and
you
than
think so
this.
than us?
But quite frankly, the game's gone if that's what's happening. So, Gary.
There's no future for pods if we just sit around analysing. Yeah,
Right.
we want access to the training figures from the week, please.
Yeah. Do you reckon we can send an email? If anyone from the Ospreys is listening, can you send me all the data on the players so I can make more informed decisions? Because right now I'm pulling this out of thin air. Thank you. Yeah, good. No. Harry Houston. I'll give in to Josh's arguments for playing these players. He's at a game against Benetton. Why not throw him in a West Wales derby? Give him a go into the cauldron that is the Brewery Field and see if he fancies it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Seems we've done that to death. Um, we didn't have a game review. We don't have a game review to do. So I think Grant is going to give us some community results right now. There's been some games, there's been some rugby played, some points scored in the community.
There have, yeah, it's coming down to what's left of the sharp end of the season. There's not been many games played because a few leagues have already wrapped up. Championship East, can you see my screen? Just checking.
Yes.
Right. Championship East, Bridgend Athletic 15, Rumney 24. Championship West, Crummock 7, Kenfig Hill 33. Glenneath 19, Gowton 13. Gosainon 12, Bonamine 40. Newcastle Emlyn 31, Tartsteel 30. Hard lines, boys. And finally there, Tondy 54, Aberystwyth 19. So that's confirmed Bonamine as champions and promoted from Championship West into Premiership. League 4 East Central, and I do apologise, I found Brackler in there. I'm pretty sure I haven't been picking up on Brackler's results regularly this season. Sorry, everyone. There we are. Brackler nil, Tonrevel 29, and they're relegated. They'll be in League 5 East Central next year. National League 6 East Central, Tondy Athletic 45, Llanrumney 10. National League 1 West Central, Bilthwells 45, Abercrave 24. Abercrave already promoted then. League 2 West Central, Birchgrove 12, Mumbles 34, and Morriston 31, Aberfan Quins 19. So again, Neath Athletic and Aberfan Quins nailed their promotion a couple of weeks back in League 2 West Central. League 3 West Central, Nantymoil 43, Maesteg Celtic 38. Hell of a game that, by the sounds of it. And Rickos 33, Baglan 27. So Baglan obviously didn't like travelling up to altitude up to the Rickos. League 4 West Central, Bonamine Athletic 55, Bridgend Sports 12. So that confirms Bonamine Athletic is promoted and Bridgend Sports is relegated. It's a cheery game at the end of the season for both teams, isn't it? Kevin Cribber 91, Cryan 7. And 98 point aggregate there. Cwngors 54, Pontardawe 33. League 5 West Central, Cwmtwrch 56, Pine nil, and Pontardawe 24, Banwen 28. So But right, come talk. We're fighting for promotion. Then Bannerman have just sealed it with that win in Pontypridd event. That's it for the results.
Okay, so
There's still a few games left, I think, but it's just mopping up the last couple of odd game year there and everyone.
getting to that end of season. So congratulations to everybody who's been promoted. Fair play. I hope you celebrated him and getting ready for next season, I suppose. So we didn't have a game to pick over as we normally do. So I thought we'd try something a bit different. I'm putting to you, as it is Derby week, Scarlets week, favorite Ospreys versus Scarlets games. Let's give it a top five for you boys, just to discuss, or like top five moments / top five games, I think. And I'm going to be showing my age a little bit here, I reckon. So, and I don't know about you, Grant, but
You what?
yeah, well,
What? Mm.
well,
Yeah, I had a quick troll. Yeah, there's a really good review on the Ospreys website. I think David Bray did it. Was it David Bray? The guy who's co-written James Hook's novels,
okay.
and he did a review which covered like the first 20 years of games, and that's a good read if anyone is really interested in the history of it all. So we'll probably drop that link on socials because the
Yeah.
website page is still there.
Well, ever prepared as I am, I did not read that before deciding to do this.
Well, I was just trying to confirm what years some of these games were because my mum, when you're showing your age, just like I can't remember one game from the other, really.
All right, so what are we thinking? Shall I kick off with one of the ones that I had?
Go on then.
2010, Ospreys 60, Scarlet 17. This game had absolutely everything. It had yellow cards galore. It had Bigger bleeding out the side of his face. I believe, if I remember this correctly. So we had a tussle, Bigger and Morgan Stoddard getting at it. The team was fantastic. Mike Phillips, Jerry Collins was playing as well. I was watching highlights of it recently. I was thinking, gosh, what a team. Three missed lineouts, which is very Ospreys currently. Sean Lamont with a shoulder / elbow to Mike Phillips' face. It had everything you'd want from that 2010 Ospreys team and a massive win. So I'm putting it up there.
My main memory of that game started the day the game was supposed to happen, the day before,
Yes.
when we were loading the bus up from outside Wetherspoons in Neath, okay, to head to the game, coach, and we're all marching out, and people are still like finishing their pints and like watching the warm up on TV, and a voice comes out saying, "Game's cancelled." Shut up, get on the bus. Game's cancelled, back inside. So come on, man, we're all sitting on the bus. The last few people coming out, go, no, genuine. And the flap of like falling around trying to work out what had gone on. But yeah, frozen pipes, burst pipes, no running water in half the toilets. So the game was delayed 24 hours. So didn't quite have the capacity crowd for that, probably because a few people had other plans for the day after. But still, had 18,000 people there for that game. Superb. Belated Christmas present that was.
Yeah.
I remember that well, to be fair, because of most of my dad's postings were in England. I didn't get to go to many Ospreys games because we sort of were too far away. But at Christmas, we'd always go to my grandparents who lived in Lansoy in sort of East Wales, and then we'd always drive up to the Boxing Day game and we'd always watch Ospreys Scarlets. Me being a big Ospreys fan, my little brother's a big Scarlets fan, and it would be really important that we win because it's bragging rights on the car drive home, and it would be unbearable if Scarlets ever win. Luckily, they very often didn't. But yeah, I can remember it was days before phones and stuff. So we left my grandparents' house, got all the way to the stadium. But it's looking pretty empty. It's not a lot of people here today. That's not like a Boxing Day derby. And we got there and then it was like, oh, game's off, sorry, game's off. The pipes are burst. We had to drive all the way back to Lansoy. I was gutted. And my old man promised, no matter when the game's rearranged to, we'll go and watch it. Don't worry, we'll go and watch it. And then, yeah, within a couple hours, I think it was rearranged to the next day. And it was like, oh, yeah, brilliant. Right, we're heading back up to Swansea then on the 27th, I think it was.
Yeah, special shout out to DJ Thomas coaches for rearranging the bus for the next day and not charge me for 2 buses as well.
Because I think, yeah, they did a deal as well, I think. Because the game was postponed, they were like, oh, we'll offer you tickets to another Ospreys game throughout the season. So I was like, oh, Dad, you got to take him up on that. So we managed to get tickets to the Munster game later in the season, which was a brilliant game. But I think we lost in the last play to a Ronan O'Gara penalty. So Jerry Collins, I think, gave away a penalty at the end. But yeah, those are my memories. Like, I mean, also Dan Bigger scoring a pretty lucky try, I think. I think he like tried to chip it up, it bounced back into his arms, and he ran it in from like 50, 60 meters.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Looking at my notes, I realized that this was not the game where he was bleeding out the side of his head. I take that back. That's to come.
I can't remember if he put a dodgy kick in or if someone tried a kick and he kicked it straight at Bigger and Bigger caught it.
Yes, I think it was that.
I think it was Richie Poo took a bouncing ball, an unusual bouncing ball, and just legged it off with it. But I don't know if that was a different game.
No, I think you're right. I think he did. He did like catch someone's chip or something. Yeah, that does ring a bell.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, 2010 probably top of the list, isn't it? I
That's-
don't know.
yeah, it's not bad.
I don't know.
That's for everyone, isn't it?
That's my submission to be considered.
Oh, that was going to be one of mine.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got mine in first. Well, any other? What about going up next? Who's got something they want to put out there and say, "Hey, how about this?"
Go on, Josh, you've got loads, isn't it?
I got 5. That was one of them. Definitely one of them.
Oh,
I think
we've all agreed with that one, haven't we?
Okay, so we're all agreed on that one then.
Yeah.
So 2010's going in.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'll go next one on my list was my first Ospreys Scarlets game.
Mhm.
I believe it was 2007 at Stradey Park, and I think James Hook scored all our points. I've got a few memories of the game. I remember, yeah, obviously us winning and me basically taking the piss out of my brother the whole way home, which was brilliant. And then the other one was that I used to get always every Christmas I'd just get basically Ospreys stash. So it'd be like an Ospreys hat, an Ospreys scarf, various other Ospreys bits. But yeah, I remember going to the game head to toe in kit, and yeah, I wasn't a very switched on child because someone had managed to nick my scarf and my hat. My hat was on my head, but someone had managed to nick both of them without me noticing when I went to the toilet. And I got back to my seat and my dad was like, "Where's your hat? Where's your scarf?" And I was like, "Oh no." So yeah.
Have you just blanked out 5 minutes of your life you don't want to remember, or something you got mugged in Park of Scarlets?
I think so, but it was a very subtle mugging. I didn't notice, but I was very distracted because I think I saw it was Scott Quinnell was like obviously like in and around, and I remember looking at him. He's absolutely enormous, so I was quite distracted, to be fair. But yeah, that was a great memory, great day. A win away at Scarlets, so can't complain.
The Scarlets wins, yeah. There's a weird game, and it's only for one particular moment. And it's 2015, and we're playing in a bit of a wild shirt. It was one of our white ones with a yellow and the aqua and whatever on the sleeves. And we won 26-27 away from home. And the game changed when I think we took the ball off them. The ball ended up with Dimitri Arhip, who went running down the touchline in front of us. Okay. And he's a chunky boy, isn't he? And he's got Eli Walker on his outside, and you can see chunks of it, like mud just flying off his boots like in slow motion as he's going past, going, "Oh my God, he's going to go all the way." Then he saw sense, gave it to Eli Walker, who just, pressed the accelerator and disappeared off into the distance. And I think we took the lead in and never gave it back up. And moments like that, particular score lines, don't particularly stick, but moments like that just stick in my brain.
Was that the one where Hanno Dirksen scored that brilliant try and the referee just about disallowed it? It was a 2015 game, wasn't it?
I don't know, like I said, moments stand out, and yeah, out of the entire 80 minutes, that 15-second jog down the touchline stuck out for me. Quite
Yeah.
possibly.
He was absolutely brilliant for us when he had it. Like I feel like him leaving was probably the worst thing for his career because I felt he was brilliant for us. He kind of tried to go to France. I think that move collapsed or something, and ended up at Cardiff.
Yeah.
I never felt he was quite as good at Cardiff.
Yeah, well, we had his best years, didn't we?
Yeah, 100%.
He's superb for us. Again, okay, we've been really, really lucky in terms of tight heads. You know, a few of them might have been foreign along the way. You know,
Yeah.
Tommy both of them, but you look at that, people like Adam Jones as well, and we've just been blessed with someone who can genuinely lock a scrum and it doesn't go anywhere. Does it? Tom
Yeah.
and Francis. Yeah, but yeah, Demetrius again. It tends. All right, when we sign a major superstar, from abroad is one thing, but you pick these strange individuals from the middle of nowhere that no one's heard of, and yeah, cult hero for sure.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh,
No, I forgot that one off my list, but that is definitely a top 3 moment, surely.
Again, when you beat this, I should have gone through it all and said, right, how many times have we won down there? I'll just list those ones. It is a bit special.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the match I'm thinking of is the 2013 match where the referee made it was like 3-3 at half time or something. And the referee made Dan Bigger like redo his kick, like was insistent on him moving it back just behind the halfway line. And then he went to miss it. I think he was on like 35 consecutive kicks in a row or something. And he missed 2 in a row, and one of them was a referee telling him, like, being a real job's worth, telling him to move the tee back like half an inch. And I just remember it for Bigger missing the kick, and then you know what he was like as a player, just glaring at the referee because he made such a fuss of where he should be taking the kick. That sticks to the memory. And another really funny moment was I wasn't actually in the stadium, I was watching it on TV. I can't remember which one it was. It was definitely a Boxing Day match, which will make sense in a second. Was I think the Scarlets had scored a try. I guess it might have been the one where Josh Turnbull won it for them. I'm not sure. But the camera cut to the crowd, and there was a Scarlets fan giving 2 fingers to an Ospreys fan, and Jonathan Davis on commentary goes, "Well, that's the Christmas spirit for you," right there.
Yeah.
That sticks with me. Gotta go and grab my charger, buzz. I realize I haven't turned it on, and it's about to die. Give me a second.
Oh, this recording might just disappear entirely now. That's in the cloud, and what happens if he disappears out of the meeting, Josh, when he's hosting?
Oh my God. Yeah. I hope it'll still. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me that reminds me of the Nick episode.
Oh, what, finish an entire episode followed by the words recording started. As it stopped. Yeah. Dress rehearsal.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, we run a professional ship here. Where was I? Oh yeah, Scarlets fans telling Ospreys fans to fuck off. No, that's got to be in there for me. Those moments. And although, and I'm sure people will remember this, although it's not in the time of regional rugby, one of my memories of being a kid and watching it was Gavin Henson with his silver hair throw in, I can't remember who the player was, into the hoardings. Does anyone remember who the player he threw into the hoardings was?
Was it correctly winger, or was it scrum off? It wasn't Pete, was it? It was a winger, I'm sure. Yeah, I remember that moment. I remember watching that live, yeah, on TV. It was live on TV, that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Aaron Evans, apparently.
Garen Evans, yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
And I don't mind mentioning it because it's not an Ospreys game. Leslie did win 62-6,
Yeah.
I believe.
And just, yeah, rule as an true Ospreys supporter, not just a Swansea supporter, okay, doesn't make the list, right? It's a nice moment. And again, I mentioned the fact if we do that, okay, probably every cup final we had in the 80s, okay, between Neath and Llanelli, in terms of that train journey home, they would probably make well, the ones where we won anyway, they would make the best moments, but yeah, they don't count.
Fair play. That hair sticks with me.
It was
What
shocking, wasn't it?
what it was, what a throw. What a throw.
What was he thinking?
Same as usual. I don't know, nothing.
Look, as a man with no hair, I don't think I can comment, to be honest.
Oh, you definitely can. That is a shocking echo, isn't it?
It was a
What
different
would
time. It was a different time, you know,
There's
like
plenty of occasions there. Was it when Wales toured South Africa? A bunch of the boys went and bleached their hair.
yeah, there's been a few in there.
Major ball again for doing it.
Yeah, there has been a few. Been a few haircuts in the time, isn't there, as well? Any other standout moments for you that you want to put in there?
Yes, I've got another one from 2010. 2010 was a vintage year to be an Ospreys fan. Um,
The other
it,
one from 2010.
well, yeah, so this one was the previous season then. So this was
Oh,
09-10. Um, and a really close game. And I remember around this period, I remember every time we played Scarlets, I'd look at the teams, I'd be like, oh, their backline is stacked. I'd be like, oh, they got, Stephen Jones, John Davis, whoever else was playing. I remember thinking, oh, we're in for a tough game. Regan King, all these lads. And no matter how strong the backline was, we'd just batter them up front. We'd just bully them. And they wouldn't see any of the ball. You wouldn't see any of that creativity. But yeah, in this game in 2010, it was a close game. And I remember I think the Scarlets were like 6 points down. They're going for the win. Stephen Jones throws a pass just outside the Ospreys 22. Irishman come Welshman Tommy Bowe. Picks it off, runs
oh,
80 metres, goes under the post. Ospreys win. Scarlets get nothing. No losing bonus point, nothing from the game. And I remember watching Tommy Bowe run that in, and it was just, such a moment.
yep. I've got the TV angle in my head, but again, little moments stick out. My seat in the Liberty, as it was then, was right on the halfway line, about 6 rows from the front. And the angle he took, he was running directly away from me towards the post. It was like, oh my God, there's no one in front of him.
Yeah.
Gone.
Oh, that was prime Tommy Bowe around the 2009 Lions tour. Oh, we got the best years of Bowe as well.
Well, we made
Yeah.
it. There he was.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah. I've only got one more, and again, this is like scraping back into the archives of my aging brain. I'm going to go back to 2006. A capacity crowd. We haven't had that many capacity crowds. Okay, with a sellout game against the Scarlets, and won 50 something. What was it? I've done the screen. 50 points to 24, and it was James Hook's breakthrough season. So you'd see him one week play for Neath, the next week at an Ospreys game, okay, and this was like year before, okay, when we were still in the Knoll, he'd be sitting there selling cans in the clubhouse, okay, him and Martin Phillips sitting on a pile of cans, selling cans for £1, right, and you watch him come through from like playing for Neath, and he started his first game for the Ospreys that season, and he started at 10, and I think he scored 23 points or something. He was just like, oh my God, yeah, this kid has got a future. And what's that, 20 years ago now? But yeah. Highlighting the James Hook show when he was at probably 20.
His son's kicking winners now, isn't he? Against them a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
That's not bad kicking coach, is it?
Oh, he's not a bad kicking coach, is it?
I was looking at his technique as well. His technique is very similar to his dad's. You can tell that he's been out for kicking sessions with his dad, and he's just copying his technique. Even as far as like when he lines it up and he's taking the mud off, he's wiping the mud off the bottom of his boots, and I'm like, oh, it's literally like watching James Hook. It's the best.
He's got the same setup, yeah. So one of the ones that sticks with me as well was firstly because it was called the Domino's Derby, because it was sponsored by Domino's at the time in 2013, 26th of December 2013, the Domino's Derby between Scarlets and the Ospreys. Awful game. I believe it was 6-3 or something. going into the final, like 75th minute, Ian Evans goes over for a try. Proper old school kind of Ospreys try as well. Rolling maul, goes over at the end. Um, yeah. Uh, Also, I was reading a match report on it earlier, and what's great is that there was also a protest outside the stadium because the WRU were in a political power struggle.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah, well, we
so
got some
yeah,
posters
I
and
don't know. I
cupboards.
don't know why it sticks with me. It was just like one of these like kind of dogged performances, and that was the game I was thinking about where the referee
Oh,
makes him put his continually makes him put his try. And Hanno Dirksen scored a brilliant try as well that was disallowed for his like leg being just about out. It was one of those games that just felt like nothing was gonna work. But in the end it did. And beating them 10-6 on a December 26th in a Domino's derby. I'll take that. So has anyone got any others to add? Because I've made a list.
Yeah, I've
the
got.
only other thing with me, okay, you probably got more games, Josh. You probably got a list of games. Again, I got moments, and I keep on seeing, yes, Finn Hopkins scoring tries against them.
Yes.
They just stick in my head.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
going
a
to
couple
say,
more,
like,
is it? Tomorrow on Saturday.
yeah, I was going to say you've got to have the Eston Hopkins winner, like in the last play. Like, that doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In a match where Scarlets were looking good that season, I remember, and they were all over us that game. We had no right to win that game, but it didn't matter because we did.
Also go Dan Ed's try as well, because that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, straight up the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked like a young Jonathan Davis the way he was sprinting up there.
Oh yeah. I think that's the moment he almost arrived. I know the Ulster game when he got the drop goal, but that
Yeah.
Derby, they tried. Oh, he's got gas as well. He's got a bit about him, this boy.
Yeah. That was the moment, wasn't there, where you put the young man in and he showed he's good enough, much like Harry Houston on the weekend.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. I've only got one more, and that was the 2020 European playoff game. Do you remember when we had to play off to decide who's going to be in the Champions Cup? At the Swansea.com.
Yeah.
I can't remember why we had to play off, but for some reason we had to have a European playoff game against the Scarlets. And
Did they change the qualifying rules?
yeah, I don't know why it was like, yeah,
There
why
used
the
to be
two?
like a certain amount of teams from each union would get in anyway, and then there was like no like the top eight. But I think maybe they'd said at that point, like I could be talking complete rubbish, so if someone wants to correct me, they can. But I'm sure they said at that point, like we're only going to have a certain amount of teams, but there was like a crossover period while they
Oh, could
reformatted
it
it.
be? Yeah, it could be.
Or have I made that up?
All
I
I
can't.
remember is it was like, oh my god, not only is it a local derby, it's also to decide who's going to get in the big boy era. And we're at home. And to be fair, my overwhelming memory of the game was Lee Halfpenny making an unbelievable tackle on Keelan Giles. Because I think Owen Watkin made like a half break. He released Keelan, and I thought, oh, Keelan's in. There is no catching him here. And to be fair to Halfpenny, and it's quite timely because he's obviously hung up his boots yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, it made an unbelievable cover tackle on Keelan. I remember thinking, there are not many fullbacks in the world who'd be making that tackle on Keelan at that point. But yeah, we ended up winning the game. Hanno Dirksen scored a great try. And yeah, we qualified for Europe. Unlucky Scarlets back in the Challenge Cup.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to be like Googling Hanno Dirksen tries when we
Yeah.
win it, because some of the things he did were absolutely off this planet.
Yeah. All my research for this, Tom Graben's name came up as well. That was a blast from the past. Another one I've forgotten. But all right. So looking at the list, we've
Yep.
got Josh loses his hat, which for me is going number one because nothing better than watching a child that
It wasn't me. I didn't do anything like that. No, it wasn't me. It wouldn't have been me.
we have the festive spirit of a Scarlets fan on the winning team.
Yeah.
I won't put these in a position, but I'm just nailing Josh's hat to number one. So Dimitri Arhip steaming down the wing, and Grant seeing mud flying everywhere. We've got the 2010 win. We have Yasin Hopkins winner. We've got Dan Eds scoring a try. We've got 2020 playoff game, Hanno Dirksen scoring a winner. I don't know if anyone's following anymore. Probably should have got pen and paper.
I stopped after I wrote down 2010, Jack, Grant, Josh. I've stopped there.
All right. So we all have
Yeah.
2010 to 2010 goes in there as well. So that's number that's in there. Josh losing his hat's going in there for me. Because honestly,
I was going to say it's not the winners and losers, but that's definitely losing things, isn't it?
yeah. But also just kind of, do you know what? In a nutshell, that just sums up the spirit on Derby Day, which is someone's getting their hat nicked, and it's going to be like it could have been an Ospreys fan, could have been a Scarlets fan. It doesn't matter. We all know someone's had a few pints and they've gone, "I'm having that hat. Love it." I don't know about you guys, but I honestly think that Dimitri Arhip's got to go in there. There's nothing better than a big man running down the wing,
Yes.
as we found
Agreed.
out with Reece Carey recently. I mean, yes, Tim Hopkins winner.
Yeah.
I personally, and you know what, we've got Dan Edwards try, we've got the playoff game that we mentioned, but I really think that it wouldn't be an Ospreys kind of looking at a top five if we didn't have somewhere in there Dan O'Ref Bigger giving daggers at a referee because he's missed the kick and the referee spent a minute standing in front of him telling him to move it back an inch. There's just something about like Dan Bigger staring at like a referee and looking thoroughly unimpressed. That is basically, I think you could get that picture, put it up somewhere, and that would sum up like a decent decade of being an Ospreys fan and something we could all identify with what seeing multiple times.
We were done. Yeah, done by the ref.
I'm going with that. I don't know about you boys.
I'm easy.
All right. Okay. I think it's about time to wrap it up. If anyone has any more kind of memories they want to share with us, feel free to comment. Feel free to get involved. We'll be happy to read them out after a big Ospreys win. If you have enjoyed today's pod, please drop us a follow. Please drop a subscribe. Everything helps. All the interactions with the fans help and give us feedback. So that would be brilliant. Before we sign off completely, win on the weekend. We're all
21-point win.
21-point win. Josh,
9-point win.
9-point win. I'm gonna go with a 8-point win. Just so I'm just ripping Josh off really and minusing the point out. Anyway, thanks for contributing, boys. Hope you have a good week. And thank you to everybody for listening. Yep. Bye for now.